Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul.
And we are SP Film Viewers.
So this film we're going to be talking about today, we didn't watch last Christmas,
Ba-dum-bum.
but we did watch it this Christmas for the first time, and that is, of course, Last Christmas, if you've probably already gathered.
So I actually wanted to go and see this in the cinema last Christmas, and somebody broke my heart and was like, I don't want to pay for that to go and watch it in the cinema. Which actually, to be fair, I should have put my foot down and said, I want to go see this. We're going to go. Because the amount of stuff that I have to go and see that I don't really want to see and waste hours of my life that I'll never get back. And you couldn't be bothered paying, what, like £6 to go and see this movie?
I think you're having a laugh with the cinema price these days, Lil. So this is an experience of watching this film for the first time this year, and for our first Christmas-themed episode.
Woo! It's finally here! I am so happy and is so excited. I don't know if you know, don't know if I banged on about it enough.
I think you have, yeah. Made it very apparent.
I love Christmas. I love it to bits. It's the most wonderful time of the year, Paul, isn't it?
There is something about Christmas.
Magical is the word you're looking for, isn't it? That's the word you wanted to say. Magical. I think he secretly loves it. I don't know if it's because
You've definitely brought it more out in me, really. I do like the lights, the whole Christmas carols and all that kind of stuff, and especially more the food.
And the drink. Don't forget the drink, Paul.
Yeah.
You're not complete Scrooge, let's just say that.
Oh, no, don't.
No, that's good. So it made it special because we've got our Christmas tree, and it's in our first home as well. So that was somewhat up in the corner while we were watching this Christmas movie. So I do feel very Christmassy and cosy, and I think that anybody needs a little bit of cheering up, don't they, this year?
Especially this year, yeah.
I can see so many things on Instagram where people have posted the trees up, and I'm thinking normally I would be like, people would be going, put your tree up on the 1st of December. What's going on? That's far too early. But loads of people have even done it before me. I feel like I'm...
Yeah, as we're recording this is the 29th of November, so it's the weekend before it falls into December, so we had to do it then.
Yes. My tree always has to be up bang on the 1st of December, or any weekend that falls before the 1st of December. Can't be afterwards because I've missed a full week.
Yeah, you're very much on the belief of having for the entire month the tree up.
Yes, especially because we get a real tree, so it's like you need to get your worth out of it.
Yes.
Also, as well, you have a full month of Halloween. So
it's only fair,
It is only fair that we have a full month of Christmas, so you are welcome, everybody, in advance.
Unless you're not a very big fan of Christmas, but,
Who wouldn't be? And I'm sure if you're not, you won't be listening to us.
Anyway, on to the review, and I'll preface this with the fact that I should normally say this for most of the films we watch, but we will kind of be very spoiler heavy in this, really, for the main reason of how the film plays out. So I know I should say that most times, really, if people haven't seen the film, but I feel like if people want to go see this, they might want to not know the ins and outs of it completely.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite important with this one, despite what people might think it's really about, based on trailers and stuff.
This film, I really, really enjoyed it. It is a bit of a spoiler, so I do apologise. We are going to be divulging it, so if you don't want to know what happens, don't listen, and then watch it and then come back and listen to us.
Yeah, obviously, come back and listen. We need those listens.
Yeah, don't not listen, but just pause us and then go and see it, and then you can agree with us later.
Or not,
Definitely going to agree. Well, maybe not with you, but with me, they will.
Depends what side of the camp they sit on, really.
Team Sophie. So, last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day,
You gave it away.
you broke it into pieces. So this year, to save me from tears, what am I going to do, Paul?
I'm going to give it to someone special.
I'll give it to you, shall I?
If you want.
Yeah, I'll let you have it. So, first of all, let's just say the massive thing is this is a tribute to George Michael. Obviously, George Michael, I believe, passed away. Was it in 2019 or 2018, roughly? I think it was around Christmas as well.
I think this is set in 2017, so I don't know if it was around that time then, maybe, or just after that.
I think
just a turn of...
he was actually starting out with this, so he was actually working on this with Emma Thompson and everybody else, and Emma Thompson was actually, believe it or not, a really close friend of George Michael.
I see. I didn't know that.
So
me something there.
So they were really close, so it was really close to her heart, so
right, okay.
It was quite hard for her to then, obviously, when he passed away, to carry on working on this project, and she was kind of one of your lead ladies.
And she was one of the screenwriters, I believe, for this as well, so... Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And if
so she wanted to do George the best proudness that she could with finishing this film off.
Okay.
So there you go. Look at me knowing something.
But obviously, before we jump into the time period of 2017, we have a very brief inkling at the very start of the film in 1999, set in Yugoslavia, which is where our lead character and her parents and a sister living at this period of time, and it all seems like everything's all happy and thing there. There's the choir going on, and she's as a young child, our lead lady is singing George Michael song. Yep. Now, the problem with me throughout this is I'm not too big of a George Michael fan, or Wham particularly. So for me, normally with me loving a soundtrack, it's very hard for me to love a soundtrack I don't know many of the songs in, and in particular if it's being practically the same artist. So the only ones I really know are like Faith and Freedom. Yeah. That's about it, really, from the whole film. So the other ones I'm like...
And Last Christmas.
Yeah, of course. But that's a given because of what the title is. But
yeah. Now, I'm the opposite to Paul. I've grown up with George Michael, played quite a lot in my household. My mum loves him to bits, and I think it's one of her favourite artists. So for me, there was loads of other songs that I knew. I can imagine if they'd done this sort of like in a context with Beatles, I can imagine it'd be wasted on me a little bit.
Yeah.
Until it's like the Yellow Submarine and all them annoying ones.
Can't they say that? Annoyance.
Well, the Yellow Submarine is annoying. Come on. It's like
one of my favourite songs.
Weakest Beatles songs. But it's just like the Last Christmas song for Wham.
You think that's the weakest?
Yeah. George Michael's other stuff is brilliant in comparison to Wham.
Okay.
There's also a history of George Michael didn't actually want to be part of a pop group. He wanted to branch out and do
his own
thing and actually write his songs and not pretend to... Obviously, there was a lot about his sexuality. Mm-hmm. So when he was with Wham, he had to pretend that he fancied girls and all of that.
Yeah.
And wasn't his true self. So there's a lot of damage that Wham probably impacted
his careers in a sense,
and probably his mentalness as well. Basically, having to pretend is something is not. Mm-hmm. So for me, all songs I actually knew.
Yeah.
So I can get where you're coming from. Like vice versa, if it would be a Beatles track, you'd love it. I'd be like, okay, I don't know what this is. Mm-hmm. Not that I don't like the Beatles, everyone. It's just my household didn't grow up with it. Yeah. It's just
yeah. So that for me, that's not a strong point with me, selling point for me for this film. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really do anything for me in that regard anyway, I'll say.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. I think if some of the songs you don't know, I can get it.
Not to say they're not bad songs, it's just I've no particular attachment to them, or I don't go, oh yeah, that's a banger or anything like that, in a sense. But anyway.
No, I think it touched more probably to me,
Yeah.
I think, to be fair.
Yeah.
So there is so many really good songs on there, and the way that they kind of tie in emotionally, I think, work really well. They have actually thought about, right, okay, this is...
At this moment, they play that song to match that character's feelings and such like that. Yeah. So our lead lady grown up, Emilia Clarke.
Which is Daenerys, obviously, as everyone will know her.
From Game of Thrones, yeah.
Because that's the only thing I've seen her in. Apart from that advert, was there an advert? Was it like a coffee advert or something?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only things I've seen her in. So
I'm sure she has done other work.
She's the mother of dragons, and she's meant to be a badass.
And in this, obviously, as hot as she is,
she's normally really hot in Game of Thrones. Like, she's beautiful. Like, I would transform into her.
In this, her character comes across as very ugly in the personality that
100% agree.
Very much so.
Frumpy as well.
You think?
Yeah. And not her, actually, but I just think it's more like a Bridget Jones kind of style to her. She's...
Yeah, I think I kind of get that sense of...
big knickers and... like that coat was god awful. It didn't do her
Leopard
any
skin, print and all that kind of stuff. Very tacky and no fashion sense really.
I know all the clothes were not really, really nice. They weren't flattering for her, to be honest, because she is a beautiful woman, and I think her character was woe is me a little bit. I feel sorry for myself.
Very difficult to like at the start. You kind of don't really warm to her with her actions. That she just kind of sleeps around and house to house thing and trying to find a place to sleep. She isn't really doing well with the job and everything. She's just very unlikable.
She doesn't care about anybody, I think that's it, or anything. She doesn't have a care for anybody apart from herself. Like, she thinks, oh, well, I'll just go out and eat and drink and then find a random guy, hook up with him, sleep on somebody's sofa. So she's not got any responsibilities or anything like that. She's just a layabout.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I didn't really like her at the beginning, and I found it really hard to gel with her. Obviously, closer to the end, you understand the reasoning behind things, and you kind of feel a little bit, and she's coming towards the end, she is more compassionate and a bit more consoling and more thoughtful.
And that's how the film wanted it to play out. Obviously, that's you kind of like, oh, really dislike her at the beginning, and then she kind of redeems herself as time goes on throughout the story.
I love her job. Like, I would really love to work with Santa. I know she's not called Santa really, but that's what Kat
employer is. Yeah, Kat or Katerina. But she prefers Kat or Kate because she's wanting to break away from her upbringing in Yugoslavia. She's kind of being like, I'm all about London now, kind of thing. It's like this is me redefining herself a bit to try and break away from all that. And so so she works in a Christmas shop, which I imagine, I think even you, after working there almost every day or whatever, you must get sick of that. She certainly does. She comes across.
I wouldn't. I would be the best Christmas elf there is known to man. I would, 100%. I think maybe, to be fair, if it was open all year round, yes, I'd probably would, but
that's what I mean.
The run up from November to December, I would be the best Christmas elf in the world.
No, but I think the shop was actually open all year round. That's what I'm saying.
That shouldn't happen. But then there is a shop in the Lakes.
The Lake District, yeah.
And it's a Christmas shop. And to be fair, I went in September and I wasn't bothered. Well, not this September, obviously, because everything's closed.
No,
September.
I think it was summer last year, actually.
Oh, it was your birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes. A year or so ago now, yeah.
See, and I embraced it, didn't I?
You did, yeah. In terms of, like, especially early on, the humour, what did you make of that?
It had its moments for me. There were certain bits I actually thought were funny.
Mm-hmm.
There were other bits where it was a little bit like, this is kind of now getting a little bit not so funny. So there was... when she was staying at her pregnant friend's house and she lit up by accident that boat thing and then like sitting on
a paper
mache thing or whatever it is and stuff like that. That was kind of like getting a little bit annoying. Like, I get she's clumsy and she's annoying, but it was like, this doesn't happen in the real world.
It's false.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I say that is because the person who directed, Paul Feig, who did Bridesmaids.
Oh no.
He did The Heat. I think I haven't seen it, but it's that one with Sandra Bullock and
Oh,
Melissa
yeah.
McCarthy. I don't know if that's humour in that. I imagine that's a bit silly.
Yeah.
And the female Ghostbusters.
That doesn't really sell it, does it? There. Well, it doesn't for me. I've not even watched Bridesmaids all the way through. No,
I don't think
I
you
think
would.
somebody started crapping in the middle of the street, and I thought this is pushing it too far. Is that right? Is that what happened?
As far as I can remember, yeah, it's a bit.
I think I stopped it there. It was like, who does that? Nobody does that. Sorry, this is not really a Christmas episode now, is it?
No, I'm just making the point of like, because of the obviously it's not as forced as that, but I can see that little sprinkling of
Yeah.
trying to make it funny, cringe, that kind of thing going on.
There was some where I couldn't handle it, and then other bits where it was like more clumsy Bridget Jones-ish.
Yeah, that's kind of that vibe as well. But one of the cringe bits for me particularly was when Santa, who's not really called Santa, she's played by Michelle Yeoh, and
I'm sorry, you made that sound really cool then.
I think that's how you pronounce
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I know she's quite a good actress, but the bit where she's obviously having this encounter, this almost like meet cute, she obviously got a crush on this guy who comes into the shop, and I'm this awkward like across the counter, like, oh, do you know what I love or something, and you're like something like that, but cringe, and then she gets out this Christmas gibbon.
Yeah.
Thing in the shop, which is full of tat, and it kind of speaks volumes of like how we've kind of just make anything Christmas.
Yeah, we really do. Like,
and that was just a bit like, ugh.
I agree with you completely. I did feel like that was a bit weird. Also, I don't know if you thought. I thought there was like something like a thing that had happened with them before, like they knew one another.
Yeah, that wasn't really established. It's kind of just. It's almost like just given as fact of that was something that's previously established that we didn't know about, kind of thing.
But then I think actually it was just the first both met one another in the shop and they fancied one another. I think that's, but it felt like one of those kind of, when you're really young and you're like looking at somebody and you're like infatuated, but it came off across as creepy. Like if it was little children, then it might not have looked so bad, but because it was like two adults, like looked like they'd not had something in a long time. It was.
Yeah, that's what I mean by it just kind of looked like really weird and cringy.
It was like they was having sex with their eyes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like that.
They may as well have just like gone like to the holding up the eye and gone like licking, look at this, I don't know, making some innuendos about something, but not far off from that, to be honest. But.
And I think it was a bit strange that she didn't know how to pronounce his name, so she just called him Boy.
Yeah.
Which, like, he's a man. Call him a man. You're not dating a boy.
And all the while, Kat is feeling a bit, down in the dumps about everything and stuff. But then she kind of catches a glimpse of this guy who seems a bit too good to be true. Quite a handsome looking.
He was very handsome. I weirdly found him attractive. I think I might have seen him before, but...
Yes, you will have done. Paul Feig also directed A Simple Favour, which is that one with Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick, and he's that love interest in...
Is he the dad?
Yeah.
And basically, the one where Blake is meant to be dead.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
However, he's a lot more charming in Last Christmas.
Oh yeah, by far, yeah.
He is the most loveliest character. He's like...
By far, yeah.
Who is like whatever everybody would like to feel like. You're charitable, you're caring, he puts his phone in the cupboard and he's wants to live life at every moment. And I feel like part of me was thinking, I need to learn from him. I probably don't look up that often, like when I'm walking around, whereas like he was showing her to look up at the buildings and such like that. Normally I don't do that. I'm just like, I need to go here. Bzz, bzz.
Yeah, just like most people who just get on with their busy lives.
Yeah, but he really, really observed life and he would take time to live, I guess.
But there's kind of reasons behind that, which I'll sort of get to. This is why I was saying about spoilers in particular, because before going into this film, and I've heard reviews from last year, but obviously nothing specifically said, but I've got a feeling, well, if there's some sort of something about it, then I'm thinking, right, I'm going with this theory, and not like reading into other people's reviews or anything, or listening to theirs to know the full ins and outs of it, but I kind of went in thinking, is he some like sort of ghost or something? It's all in her head, and I was pretty much on the money with that.
I was so disappointed.
So obviously, when I'm looking through the obvious clues, like he's walking down the street with her, and every time there's a person in the way, he does like this spin thing like out of the way, and she's like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" kind of thing, and it's like, well, it's obvious because if he does the thing, it'll be obvious that he's walking through. People are just walking through him or something, and then there's other stuff. It's like where she's getting changed and people are whistling at her because he's like, "Oh, good job of covering up for me," and things like that. So I'm kind of going throughout the film, going right. Well, yeah, that makes sense because they're not the way the wording it, not directly saying "you too" or "get out of here" or whatever. It's kind of or "you" and things like that. And he's always wearing the same clothes.
Now, do you know, I didn't twig onto any of this. I don't know if it would put me into a false like feeling, and I was just like, oh, he's such a lovely character. My guard was completely left down. I wasn't thinking there was going to be a trick or anything like that within this. I just thought it was a lovely, genuine, nice Christmas movie, boy meets girl kind of movie. That's what I thought. Obviously, you'd overthought it, but you were right.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't really twig on, I guess, was the fact of, I guess, where the title of the film comes from, really.
Yeah.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, which he does to save her life for the heart transplant that she has, and it's kind of discussed in bits throughout the film.
But I would have saved him over her. The fact that he was such a lovely, lovely character and a lovely man, genuinely he was, compared to this selfish, bratty kind of woman who, after, because like if that were me up in heaven and I'd given somebody my heart because obviously for whatever reason I was no longer around and this person needed my heart, and then we're seeing her going around drinking whatever she wants, floozying with every other man. I'm like, excuse me, you wouldn't be breathing, love, if you didn't, or be alive if you didn't have my bloody heart. Now start doing the right things.
Yeah.
So you kind of get that kind of moral behind it, where he kind of, Tom, becomes
almost like guardian angel to her and kind of pushing her in the right direction
and helping her,
going to the homeless shelter, helping them out, and making friends through that, and
even simple things like with her work, like with Santa, kind of saying, oh, well, have you ever done anything nice for her? Maybe just get her a coffee or something like that. Simple things go a long way, and I think this is what this was showing in this Christmas film. And I
think that's really what the message of Christmas is for this particular film. Like the spirit of giving and just thinking about others rather than just yourself.
Oh, you couldn't have said that better. That is literally what I love about Christmas, is the giving. And I think that's what it should be about. And it's not thinking about everybody else. It's how you've hit the nail on the head. You've actually given me shivers, Paul. That is fantastic.
I said something right there in regards to that. But I think that's what I'm trying to look for in terms of what the message of the film is going for. And that's certainly it. Yes,
it is. And that to me is a good moral for a Christmas movie. It is quite sad for me. It was. I quite whelmed up. And it is so clever the way they've done it with the song Last Christmas, I Gave You My Heart kind of thing. And I didn't even twig that was going to be such a massive thing. And that's why they did play it a lot through the film. It was sang and played.
Yeah.
But it never twigged in my head that this person was a guardian angel, or he was there for her, or part of her now because she had his heart. She'd kind of fallen in love, and he said basically, either way, you would have had my heart. And that it was that line that got to me, because like if they were together and he was alive and she was alive, he would have given him his heart anyways. And it's the fact of that kind of poignant, kind of sad moment where you looked stone cold and I'm like
it's really do anything for me. I was going like, I knew it kind of thing.
I was like, what is this? I was so shocked because I'd let my guard completely down. I was all feeling quite festive and quite happy with the movie. I did look over to you a little bit and think, oh God, he's probably hating this.
As much as I thought I would, to be honest, but I wouldn't say it would. I absolutely loved it, really.
I'm not going to say every year we have to watch
No,
this.
it's on the back of the box. It's just like a new Christmas favourite or something. It's like, yeah, maybe now and again. It's not something you'd think, oh, yeah, let's get that out.
It's not an every year
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
It's like we put Home Alone on every year.
As I'm sure most people do.
You know it word for word.
Almost, yeah.
But it's the nostalgia. It's a classic, and it's just enjoyable to watch. Whereas this is like I think maybe every other year, you know, when you've kind of forgot the story, I would generally like to rewatch it just for the fact of what you've seen already on the first watch, because I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that certainly gives that's an edge to it, to give that a rewatch and go, oh, right, yeah, point that out. I know, like we said, we've watched a lot of things where it's, you know, like Fight Club and stuff where you're not so, even though you did pick up on that first time, is he all in his head kind of thing? And
Yeah, I think that was more because I think we'd watched a lot that was the same of people being in the heads and had got used to kind of looking out for it. I think we haven't had as many
leading up to
this to keep me on the ball, and
Yeah.
as well, to be fair to me, I just assumed it was a rom-com, and I think that kind of put me in that false kind of lull.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you kind of just thinking it was just
Boy
gonna be a
meets girls.
bog standard rom-com
Yeah.
fair, but yeah,
So
that was good in that sense. I'll give it that.
100% was. It keeps you on your toes for sure. It is really sad though to know that the character you like the most is dead. That was like, what the hell? Because he was the most loveliest man alive. I don't even think any person out there is. If you are, please let us know. But I don't think anyone can be as lovely as he was. Like, he is such a made-up character.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, like, I try to be good and nice, but nobody's perfect.
No, the sad fact is nobody is, but we try. We can only try. What do you think of Emma Thompson's character being?
She's amazing. I love Emma Thompson so much. She is a knockout in every single film. Like
yeah.
We watched the Harry Potters recently. We're kind of Paul's being dragged kicking and screaming to start from number 1
all the way through.
All the way through. You've watched some of them, but not to the back end, which I think you'll actually enjoy more of.
Mm-hmm.
But there's she Professor Trelawney or something like that.
Don't ask me.
And she's like this kooky
yeah, just
professor.
typical character thing that she would play, and she plays it so well.
So well, and the fact that she's trying to be European, have a different accent, and keeping that, and it's such a strong,
very strong
accent, and she nails it. She really does. She does look a little bit older, but I'm wondering if that's probably makeup because she's an older mother.
Yeah,
but knockout of an actress. She is amazing. Like, any film that she's in, I know I'm gonna love it because she's in it. Also, the fact of that she was in Love Actually. So, if you haven't watched Love Actually, which I'm pretty sure most people will have, but actually when we did a review of The Boat That Rocked
with Mike Militello, if you're listening, make sure you watch it this year. Yes,
you better watch it this year. I can't believe nobody has not seen it. It's like, it's such a classic. It's one of those things.
But I'd say it's fairly British, so that might
let him off.
For a thing, if you might not have even heard of it over there in the States or wherever you're from.
But wherever you are from, if you haven't heard of it and you really want a good Christmas film, maybe stay tuned. You never know what might be coming in line.
Well, I think we can say that the back end of the month is more than likely going to be a review of that. So if you want to see that ahead of time, then we're giving you a good month's warning about this. So
definitely. And it's an amazing film. I do think this one was an easing us in a little bit. It didn't have that Christmas sparkle for me.
Yeah, that's the only thing. There wasn't too much thing. It was very modern in the way it was, like a London streets. And it was obviously had the lighting and stuff of, the Christmas lights up and all that and stuff. And then working in a Christmas themed shop being the main focus of it. But it's, like I say, it was more to do with the whole being charitable and written
Yes.
message of it all, really, more than anything.
And I think I definitely appreciated that, but I think it was just that little bit of twinkle, a little bit more of Christmas edge and sparkle of like actually valuing Christmas and that kind of side of things. I think a lot of other films make you feel like it's definitely a Christmas film. Like, actually, you probably could have watched this in the summer, and yeah, okay, it's really Christmas related, but it wouldn't feel like you're properly watching a Christmas film.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
You know, like whereas Home Alone to me is like fully Christmas. The music's Christmassy, everything about it is just Christmas. Whereas there's certain points where actually this is just a rom-com.
I mean, like, there wasn't any, like, snow on the ground, so that's pretty much a typical British thing anyway. It's, we hardly get any snow any time of the year around December. Lucky if
We're
get
lucky
any in January, to be fair. But
yeah,
so I guess in that sense, it kind of like doesn't make it feel that Christmas. It could just be like street lights up in the sense of just hanging around London.
Would you watch it again?
I probably would. So like I say, not come back to it like straight away next year. Like, well, let's get that out and put it on a rotation of maybe every other year or something, perhaps.
Okay, so it's not going to be like the Christmas and the Cranks where you just like no.
Yeah, just no with that. Absolutely no interest.
And then he thinks Die Hard's a Christmas film.
I think people will agree on that one.
I don't think they will, and then you think Gremlins is as well. It's like, what is this? No.
Yeah.
No. I'm the Queen of Christmas. I say no.
And with that, we'll go to the scoring. So, what will you give Last Christmas?
Probably higher than what you'll give it. I have to think wisely about this because I know what's coming in store for the next couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
And I know already what I want to score one of them before I've even watched it.
Okay.
So I can't, on the principle of this, score this mega, mega high. But I don't want to underscore it either, just because some of them are going to be a bit more knockout than this is.
Okay.
I think this definitely is really, really good with the George Michael side of things. That's definitely a point for me. That's probably a deduction on your side. But for me, it's a perk. It's got good morals behind it. It does make me sad that Tom is not alive. And that kind of does make me sad. I would have preferred an alternative ending where Tom is alive and they get together and he still brings the good out in her, but it's all happy, happy, clappy. You know me. Love a happy, clappy at the end. Still was, but still bittersweet. It's got quite a bit of Christmas in it, but my Mother of Dragons, she's not as much of a badass in this, and she's not seeming to be as pretty, but that means she's a good actress because she's versatile and she's playing a different role, and it's just because that's all I've seen her in. You just kind of hone her in, like Rachel from Friends is always the same character.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Which you can't always be the Mother of Dragons, can you, to be fair? I think with all that in tied in a bow, and obviously Emma Thompson being a brilliant actress as she is, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
That's very generous.
Well, it's Christmas. It's the time for giving and forgiveness, Paul. Please don't be lower than a 5.
Oh, you'll be okay then.
Okay. Just by one.
Just by one, though, I'm afraid.
I knew you were going to say that. It's so harsh. It's so harsh. You're a Christmas humbug.
No, I'm not. Really, because like I say, the George Michael soundtrack really doesn't do anything for me, like I've already exclaimed.
Rest in peace, George Michael. Don't make him upset.
No offense to him, but it doesn't hit me emotionally or anything like that. It's just there.
I'll hit you emotionally in a minute.
The message is being good to others and not thinking about yourself. It's a good message, but there is, like I said, there's not much Christmas other than that going on, really. The humour, especially in other parts as well, with things like those police officers, they were trying to be like a comedy duo act, and they just fell flat. It just some of the humour, it's just a bit forced. Also, that other bit that They're trying to do that thing with that clever switch of like when she's going to the house that's got all the lights, her parents' house. It's got all those lights on it, and you think, oh, she's going to the house, and then almost like the last second she just turns and goes to the house that's right next to it. It's like, oh, really? I mean, I could see that a mile off.
I couldn't. So maybe I'm not that predictable.
Yeah. And the only sort of real true enjoyment I got out of it, in all fairness, was the fact of like going in with the mindset of thinking, right, is this guy ghost / guardian angel? Look for the clues that indicate that, and at least that paid off for me being right on that.
That's all you coming away with it, is that you're right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess.
Apart from the fact the moral behind the movie is to be giving and thoughtful, but yes, I am right.
It's sad to say, I didn't really feel anything, like, I didn't feel upset like you did for when he...
For Tom?
Yeah, so there was no attachment, even though obviously it's the fact of him not being real, but I was more...
That's because you already knew he wasn't, so you weren't
So
attached.
It didn't really... So I guess that's
So you
really
spoiled it for yourself, because that's why I got upset, because I didn't think he was a ghost. I don't even know why you thought that.
I don't know, just had a hunch, and I guess that hunch was correct. But I didn't know about the heart implication there, like I said. And also that I did wonder, like, the part when she's in the doctors, and there was the comedy bit there between Emma Thompson's character and her, and there's that thought, where's this going? But I guess that was to do with the checkup of how she was doing after her operation and stuff like that. But
because it must be hard to have your heart replaced.
Yeah, just a bit. Heart surgery is very complex.
No, but I mean, then the aftermath, because
to deal
it's like,
with it,
I know you've got your brain, but there's a lot in your heart that is driven by that. You've got your brain where it thinks, and your heart, you go with your gut, don't you? You get what I mean?
I think so, yeah. But it's a 6 from me.
Boo! Hiss! We're at the panto. Throw things at you. Well, I'm disappointed with the 6, and I hope that it only gets better.
I think it will do for what we've got lined up, especially more at the back end. But for now, folks, thank you very much for listening to this episode, and of course you can check out all our other episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, and wherever else you may get your podcasts from. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search for SB Film Viewers on there.
Also, some very, very exciting news, which, if you haven't seen it already on our Instagram story, is now the SP Film Viewer logo can now be on multiple things on TeePublic. So definitely go and check that out. Watch this space with it. It's really exciting.
Yeah, so you got things like, there'll be t-shirts, vests, hoodies, notebooks, even masks.
Give me a notebook. I want a notebook. And obviously, yeah, definitely jumping on the bandwagon with SP Film Viewer masks.
That's what's on there, so I'm thinking, well, why not? We all need them at the moment, so
yeah,
do go support us with that. So search for us, SP Film Viewers, on TeePublic for that stuff.
Brilliant. And also, just generally check us out on Instagram. We'll be posting loads of Christmas stuff, don't you worry. You'll get to see our tree up there, and I'll make Paul do a video of our Christmas lights, because I have gone obsessed this year, because we can't go anywhere, can we? So we might as well make Christmas special at home.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you once again, everybody, and we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time. Take care, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye.